everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today let's start off with the first video on the solid principle, which will be about the single responsibility principle, and it's also known as the separation of concerns. So we'll go over the definition of this principle, and then we'll have a look at a code example where we will create a module which will kind of violate this principle, and then we will refactor it into multiple classes so that we can enforce this principle. So let's get started. So right off, let's talk about this principle. So the single responsibility principle states that every module, class, or function should have only one reason to change. So in other words, what that means is that it should have only a single responsibility, right? So by adhering to this principle, we can create code that is more maintainable, flexible, and easier to understand. So whenever a class or module has multiple responsibilities, any change to a responsibility may kind of affect the other parts of the code, and that can really lead to some unexpected bugs and introduce the kind of complexity. And just remember that by adhering to this principle, it promotes the code that is easier to maintain, test, and even extended for some other use cases which are going to come in the future. So whenever you're writing code, just think about the responsibilities and strive for simplicity and separation. So let's have a look at some code which will be enforcing this. So suppose we're creating an e-commerce app. So suppose we have class e-commerce app, and then let's give it an initializer. So suppose, and for our e-commerce app, we'll be having users. It will be a dictionary, and suppose we also have a catalog just to hold the items which we have in there. We have a catalog, and let's add a print statement just to show that we are in the app, and it'll just show up in the debugger. So welcome to e-commerce app. Let's just do that, and let's add some couple of methods to our class. So we'll have an add user where we'll take in the ID, we'll take in the user, and then we'll just put in this user in the dictionary which we have. Then we have the remove user where we'll have just the ID of this user. And I'm just not adding much error handling, but in real life cases, you would be expected to take care of all of that. But just for simplicity, I'm just going over the basic requirements for now. We did that, and then let's try to add item to catalog. And there we're gonna take in the ID and also the item which is to be added. Oops. And then we're just gonna put into the catalog which we have. And the key would be the ID, and then we have the item. Again, we're gonna have one more method which is gonna be around remove item from the catalog, and this will take just the ID of this item. So if ID in self.catalog, we're just gonna delete it from the catalog. That's it. As I said, in real life scenarios, you're going to need to handle all those cases and raise some exceptions if that item is not present. Now, once we're done with removing, let's also add one more method for sending notifications. And by adding these different methods, we're kind of violating the single responsibility principle. We'll just have a look at it in a while. So let's just implement this as well. And here we'll be having the code for sending the notification to the user, and we're just gonna print this message, and I'm just gonna add a custom separator which is gonna be 2 lines, 2 new lines. Okay, and then let's have one more method which is gonna be for placing an order. So we have a place order, and we have the item in here. And if item in self.catalog, then we're just gonna code for placing an order, and then we're just gonna send the notification because the order has been placed. We can just say your your order has been placed. And here we can just print the name of the item. We'll just print it from the catalog. We'll have just this item, and if that is not the case, suppose we don't have this item, we're just gonna say that just send a notification which is going to be a f string item with ID of item not available. Okay, so we're kind of done with this, but notice that we have the user, the code for managing the user, for the catalog, for sending notifications, for placing an order. I'll put it into a single file, which is a very bad scenario. Suppose I want to make some changes to the sending notification module. How can I make it more modular? I want to make some changes to the catalog. How would I do that? Suppose I handle it in e-commerce app, and suppose I have one more app which is going to be about social network, and there also I'm sending notifications. So I'll have to make changes to the code at every spot. So that is something which is not really extendable and scalable. So in these scenarios, it's best to split things up into different classes so that every class has a single responsibility, and that's it. It should not have multiple responsibilities which it should be handling, right? So let's also have a look at an example how this class would work. So I'm just going to show for this class. Suppose we're going to add item to catalog, and this is going to be the ID, and suppose this is a book which is 0 to 1, and then I can just place an order for this. Suppose I do app.place order, and that is for item 1, and let's just try to run this code and see how it goes. So suppose I just try to run this code, and yeah, we can see that welcome to e-commerce app, your order has been placed for the book. So yeah, it works. Fine. Now let's have a look at how we're gonna change this class into multiple smaller classes, which is gonna take care of just one responsibility. So right off the bat, we can see that we will be needing 4 classes. One is gonna be for the user management. We can have a user manager. Then we will need one for the catalog, which is gonna take care of adding and removing items from the catalog. Then we'll also need one for the notification service. Okay, that's gonna be one more class. And then for order processing, we're gonna need a order processor. So that's the 4 classes which we will be needing. So let's get ahead and just code that up. So the first class which we're going to need is the class user manager. So we're going to just do self dot. We're just going to help the users over here. So this is going to be a dictionary, and then we have an add user class, sorry, a method which is going to take a name, and it's going to take in the ID. And then we're just gonna put that user, so self.users of ID is gonna be this name. So I'm just keeping things very simple for now, but in a real world scenario, you're gonna need to take care of a lot of things, and these classes can be a lot more complex. But yeah, just want to show you how this principle works. So yeah, we're just going over an example for that. So if the ID is in self.users, then we're just gonna return, we're just gonna delete that. And one more thing, we can just return a true if we were actually able to delete that, else we're gonna just return a false because the ID didn't really exist in the first place. So we're done with that. Now let's move over to the catalog. So our catalog would be having an initializer, sorry, so we're having an init, and it will just have the items for now. Let's just keep the items. It's gonna be a dictionary, and then we're gonna have add item, and we will take the ID, we'll take in the item, and then self.items of ID will be the item itself, and then we can have a remove item. So def remove item, and this is gonna take the ID only, and if ID is not in self.items, then we can just raise a key error, okay, because we don't have that. So just adding the error handling logic in this case, and then we can just delete that item from the catalog. So this is how we're gonna implement this for now. So we're done with the catalog, and now let's also implement the notification service. So in a real world scenario, the notification service would kind of implement a strategy pattern, because we can have here, so yeah, we can send notification across multiple channels, like email notification, we can send push notifications, we can send text notifications. So yeah, in real world scenario, we will have a kind of a microservice who's gonna take care of all these different kind of channels, how we want to push these notifications to the user. But for now, let's create a static method. Okay, so we can just have a static method which will just print this for now to the console that the notification is sent. And then yeah, in the real world, you can just go ahead and yeah, build your own service for that. So for now, let's just print this message that notification was sent, whatever the thing which we're sending it through this static method. We're just going to print that over here. And then we're going to just go over the order processor, and that's gonna take in the catalog. So yeah, we'll need the catalog for this, so that has to be the part of the initializer over here. So here we're going to pass in the catalog, and let's again just print something over here so that we can just print it nicely in the debugger console. So welcome to order processor service, and we're just gonna print that. And let's add a couple of line breaks here as well. And then we're gonna just place the order. So suppose we take self and the item. So we're gonna go ahead and place the order. So if the item in self.catalog.item, so if the item is there, let's say it's if, and if the item is there in the catalog, we will just have code for placing the order, code for just wanna place the order. And then we'll just use that static method. So it's notification service dot send notification, and we can just have an f string. Your order has been placed, and we're just gonna print the name of the item. So we'll have self.catalog.items, and then we have the item over here. So fine, this should work. And if that is not the case, then we're just gonna print that item is not available, and or I would rather say that we would be sending this notification. So item not available. So yeah, that's the notification which we're gonna send. So we're done with our classes. Let's just see how we can use this up. So suppose we have a catalog, which is gonna be the catalog, and then we're gonna just add the items to this. So suppose we add the book, which is gonna be lean startup. Okay, let's add that, and let's add one more item to our catalog, and this is gonna be suppose some kind of veggie. Okay, so suppose we're adding red bell peppers. Okay, and then let's create the order processor. We're gonna just put this in this variable. We're gonna have the order processor, and we're gonna pass in the catalog. And then let's try to place an order. So let's try to place an order with an ID of 1, which is gonna be the book lean startup. And now let's try to run this file. So first it's gonna execute the older one, and then let's see for the latest one and see how this goes. So yeah, so this is the first one. We're placing the order for the book 0 to 1, as you remember, and then we're welcoming into the order processor service, and we're just placing the order for the book lean startup. So suppose if I try to place an order for the bell peppers, I'm gonna save it. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, so we're gonna place the order for the bell peppers. So all right, that was it about the single responsibility principle. So just remember that always have classes which have a single responsibility, and yeah, just make sure you use this principle in your code so that you don't have spaghetti code at the end and then you have to refactor a lot of things. So that was it about the single responsibility principle. Next we're going to talk about the open close principle, and I hope you find this valuable and that it helps you really write cleaner and more maintainable code. So stay tuned for the next video, and just don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys very soon.